Here they are, the new Ghostbuster figures. So for characters, they have Trevor, Gary, Callie, Phoebe. They look pretty cool. What's good about these figures is that they come with nice ghosts. You can stretch over the characters. What's good about it, they give you a class and a description of what type of ghost it is. So it's pretty cool. The art in the box maybe seem a little simple, but I do like the illustrated versions of these ghosts. Let's see if these new Ecto-Stretch Tech is cool as it looks. So the first figure we'll be looking at is Gary with his nice yellow ghost. First time I've ever seen this yellow ghost before. His name is Pukey, and here's a little information about him. As you can tell right off the bat, he has a nice smile on his face. But will the smile continue once he gets covered in Pukey? We'll find out shortly. Let's go look at the figure itself by itself. So here's the back side of him. He does stand up nice and tall without any help on a flat surface. It's nice that the figures come with a background. All the backgrounds are the same. The Ghostbuster Firehouse covered in the ice. The sculpt is pretty nice. Here's his proton pack. I didn't put it on his back just quite yet so you can see what it looks like. They do put detail on both sides of the proton pack. Of course, there's that peg that goes in his back. The proton pack and his weapon do fit snugly on the figure itself. There is no way to put the proton pack upside down, so if you're worried about that, that won't be a problem. There is a little hollow piece in the bottom of the weapon itself for the proton pack. Even if you do get it from the lower angle or put the weapon upside down, it's not like it really takes away from the weapon itself. So Gary comes with a character called Pukey, which is a new ghost. He has little arms and little legs and a ridiculously long tongue. Very kind of disturbing, gross mouth, which is really well detailed. His long tongue / puke looks really nice. For not having any color, there's still a lot of detail in this figure. Now, what's noticeable about this ghost, and guess what's going to happen? There's a slit in the back so you can slip it over the character. So let's put him over Gary and see what that looks like before we actually try to stretch it over him. Now, as you can see, just putting it over his head without stretching it, it almost looks like he's some kind of weird, disgusting, disturbing alien. Of course, obviously with a little bit of extra appendages, but it actually looks kind of cool just as is. Now, let's see what it looks like once we stretch it. So far, it looks like it just stretches. Well, let's see if it looks translucent like they do in the picture on the back of the box. You can kind of see it. I don't want to rip this, but it seems pretty sturdy so far. I don't know what point it gets to where it starts to rip, but it looks like it forms right back into position. See if we can get it to stretch a little bit more. Backpack off for a second. It kind of works. I mean, it's not as translucent, but I could probably push it a little harder, but I really don't want to rip a hole into this. Let's see if it works this way. Kind of see some of its features. Pretty sturdy so far. Again, I'm not going to push it to its limits. You can kind of see his face and all that stuff through it. So it's not bad. It's a nice touch. As I said, it's also cool to see his face turn like into an alien. Sorry about that. What was that all about? I can speak clearly now. No, there's no ghost on my face.
I thought they smelled bad on the outside.
Anyways, so it's pretty cool. Let's go see what the other figures look like. But starting off Gary, it looks like off to a pretty good strong start. Okay, now we're going to look at Callie, the mother of the two Spengler children, and her ghost. This ghost is Possessor. Let's go see what they're all about. Good figure design, similar obviously to her daughter, which we'll look at later. Same thing, peg hole in the back for the proton pack. Good facial feature, again smiling. All the figures do have peg holes, in case you're wondering, put them on a stand, but they do stand up very sturdily by themselves. The proton packs seem exactly the same, so we'll skip the detail on that, but I just want to show you what it looks like from both angles on this figure. So the ghost we'll be looking at is Possessor. The Possessor looks like, to me, like a bag of garbage. It does not stand up on its own due to its heavy front. You will have to hold it if you want to play with it, unless you want to put it on someone's face. So let's quickly put it on her face to see what she looks like. Again, kind of like alien-ish, but not as much as the previous ghost, which was Puker. This one doesn't seem like it looks as good on her head by itself, unless you're looking straight from above. Maybe the ghost possesses a bag of garbage and starts to attack. Okay, let's see how Possessor stretches over Callie's face. Looks kind of grotesque. You can play around with his face this way. You can make it different facial expressions because of how flexible it is. You can kind of see a little bit as it stretches, but due to the Possessor's thickness, you can't really see right through it as much as you could with Puker. Our goal is not to ruin the ghost, but they do seem pretty sturdy. Again, nice big hole in the back, so you can't just pretend it's just a regular bag of garbage from the backside. You'd obviously have to play the side with the ghost face, which kind of looks either like a skeleton or a pumpkin design. for the face. But it's a nice bag of garbage. Pretty straightforward when you look at it. So now let's move on to the next Ghostbuster. So now we're moving on to Phoebe, the young female protagonist, and her cool looking skeleton ghost. I think the ghost is really well designed. I really like the style. And his name is Bonesy. Just like the other ones, you're going to see if we could stretch it over the character. Let's go check it out. Again, good body sculpt. Unlike the adult figures, she does stand a little bit shorter due to her age being younger. Good character design. Good sturdy stand. Got the peg hole in the back. All of them obviously do come with that little patch for Ghostbuster symbol. Their last names sewn onto their outfit. Now let's see what she looks like with her proton pack. I didn't say this before, but the proton packs are naturally designed for a right-handed character. Now their hands can hold it either way, but obviously the best way to hold it would be with the right hand. The hose for the proton pack naturally leans to the right, and you don't want to mess with that and make it look a little funny. Here she is holding her proton pack. Nice, simple, just like the previous characters. Now let's see what the new ghost looks like. This is Bonesy. He's a distinct human form ghost. I mean, due to the color, obviously it leans more to a ghost or a ghoul, but it also looks like it could be a nice, skeletal body or a corpse, or maybe you could pull off a little goofy zombie. He has a nice pile of guts, or you could say like ghost streams coming out of the bottom of him. Or like the two previous ghosts, he can actually stand up on his own. So that's nice. Got good detail in him. It's like the other ones. It does have a hole in the back, which luckily enough it does not affect the sturdiness of this ghost. See what it looks like on Phoebe herself. So straight on, the ghost just laying on her body does look a little weird and doesn't look very natural. Now, maybe from a little above shot, it look a little bit more like a humanish creature. But at the same time, again, just looks a little funny. Skinnier body doesn't hide the head as well. But let's see if it stretches as good as the first one with Pukey, or if this is going to be more thicker like Possessor. Let's check it out. So the chest cavity is way thicker, maybe even thicker than the Possessor. So you really won't get that gooey stretch. Now, obviously thinner spots like his lower torso part will probably be the best bet to get it to show a little bit more of the detail of the face. Now, you don't want to pull too hard, especially when there is a thinner spot in stretchy stuff, due to the fact that you don't want to tear it. As you can see, you can stretch it over the characters, but the downside is, unlike Pukey, you really can't see the character's face over it. So it kind of defeats the purpose. That's why I feel like the garbage one, aka Possessor, and Bonesy just doesn't really work. See the person's face through. I don't want to tear off his head or anything like that, but you're really not going to get the results that you get like with Pukey. Now let's move on to her brother, see what his ghost is. We all know who he is, but let's go check him out right now. So here's Trevor. We're going to look at his box first. So you can see right here, they're going to give you a little bit of information about Slimer and what kind of class he is. Just kind of like all the other characters, stands up very tall, has the same design basically all the way throughout. Peg in the back. Let's quickly see what he looks like with his pack. So here's Trevor with his proton pack. Pretty simple, straightforward. What's good about this background, it does hold up on its own. So that's nice if you want to display a background behind the character. Now let's go see what the one we've been all waiting for. Slimer. Let's see how he looks in height and design. So here's Slimer. His natural design has his hands straight down. So he doesn't look like he's trying to grab you or anything. He just looks like he's trying to pick something up. Good face features, good overall design. But let's look at his butt. As to be expected, due to the giant hole, the butt has basically been removed. It's just a nice bulge in the back. It might actually be more like a Pukey when it comes to how well it stretches someone's face. But let's first go see what it looks like on top of Trevor as an extra head. It doesn't naturally stay on top of Trevor very easily unless you slip his head into Slimer's head. Now it looks like Trevor has an extra set of hands. Maybe if we can push his hands further back. I know he's holding the proton back. Maybe look more natural. It does. It looks a little funny, but it works. Slimer. No, he's not a Pokemon. But let's see how well it stretches over Trevor's face. We're going to start right here. This looks kind of cool looking. Nice jaw-dropping look. But will it actually show his face like Pukey, or will it more like the other two ghosts where you don't really see through? But first, Slimer put on his head like this. Makes it look like a turkey almost. Kind of like, quick reference to Friends. Now let's see how well it stretches over his face. Not very transparent, even bottom. I feel like Pukey would win the best for this, followed by Slimer. Then I would say Possessor, and dead last place would probably be Bonesy. So I haven't found a way to actually make it look like the picture where you can see more through them. Again, I don't want to rip it, but not worth the effort to actually try to make it work. Do I like stretching features? Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to be able to slip it over the people's heads to make it look like a new creature or character or whatever, but it just doesn't really work, make design look. But you can't make Slimer talk. Slimer! Yeah. Slimer, hungry! Let me know what you think about the feature of putting them on top of their heads and stretching them. Do you think they did a good job of executing this effect? Or was it kind of lost due to the integrity and design of the ghosts? Well, in a moment, we'll put all the figures next to each other and see how that looks. So here's all four characters standing next to each other. You can see the height differences. As you can see, Gary's the tallest, followed by Trevor, then Calli, the mom, and then lastly Phoebe. The characters look pretty nice design. Overall, it seems like there's similarities obviously between the characters, but that doesn't mean that the sculpts are exactly the same. Are they similar to the previous Ghostbusters? We may look into that for you, but overall, they look good standing next to each other. Again, they don't need stands to stand up. They can hold on their own just fine. Now let's look at the ghosts. So it does seem like Possessor can stand up on his own as long as you got the right kind of surface. So he's a nice size figure. You can see the Pukey is a longer figure. Then you got Bonesy up here, who's also another one longer figure. And then, hey, where'd Slimer go? And then you got Slimer, who is also another longer figure, but he's also bulky, kind of like Possessor. So here's all four ghosts, so you can see what they all look like next to each other, height, and compare sizes. Let me know what you think. Are these ghosts pretty cool? Do you think they did a good job on the figures? I think they did for the price you pay, and I think the ghosts turn out very well. I do like that it's stretchy. Do like the designs of the ghosts. It doesn't look as cool as it looks in the pictures on the side of the boxes, but it does a pretty good job being stretchy and fitting over the characters in general.
Just one to add on, here's the original version of the Fright figures from Afterlife mixed in with the newer Frozen Empire. Just to show the similarities in more ways than one. Ain't that right, you two? Just thought it was something neat to show them all off. And they might as well show off their ghosts too. And the little Fright features that came with them, with these new technology features. Oh, Gary.
Thank you for watching the video. Let me know what you think. Feel free to comment. Give us any of your thoughts of what you've seen. Do you think the sculpts actually look like the characters? If you have the figures already, what you think of it. Thank you for checking this video out. Just let us know what you think. Are you excited about the new movie? Or are you a little weary about the new direction they're going with it? I personally don't mind as long as they can make a good story out of it, because I've seen some of the episodes from the original animated Real Ghostbusters series, and they've taken on more than just ghosts. So let's see if they can actually take on this new villain and yet still keep it with the Ghostbuster film series feel. Thank you for checking out the video. Have a good day.